Looking at the Miami Dolphins 2025 opponents. It's early, and we're not going to get ahead of ourselves, but we are going to look at who we are playing. What is up, Fin fans? Thank you to the people that came and hung out yesterday for the live stream of watching the Broncos taking on the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills obviously won that one. This upcoming weekend, which is the Sunday night game, I think the game starts at 6:30. I will be doing the Ravens taking on the Buffalo Bills. So if you want to come hang out and watch that live stream, I will be live for that. Hopefully it is a good one. We are going to be looking at the schedule for next year, this year, but technically next season because we're still in the same season. Look at who we're facing. Obviously, we don't know when, but we know who we are facing. We actually know who we are facing all the way up to 2027. So, I'm going to tell you how that kind of works because some people are like, how do we always face these people? Or why are we always facing these people? And I will explain it to you. And tomorrow I have Omar Kelly coming on, and I'm going to pick Omar Kelly's brain about kind of that whole locker room situation, his thoughts on the Dolphins this year, his thoughts on the future of the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer, can they change, yada, yada. It's going to be a great conversation with Omar. But before we jump into all that, we got trivia today. Today is January 13th, so we have trivia. On this date in 1974, what player ran 5 yards for a touchdown 10 plays into the game to give the Dolphins a lead they would never relinquish in a 24-7 win over the Vikings in Super Bowl VIII, the 73 season? I'll say it one more time. On this date in 1974, what player ran 5 yards for a touchdown 10 plays into the game to give the Dolphins a lead they would never relinquish in a 24-7 win over the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl VIII 1973 season, which was after the perfect season. So that was the third straight Super Bowl the Dolphins went to. Lost the first one, I think it was to the Cowboys, then won against Washington, and then won against Minnesota. If you want to know the answer to that trivia question, I will be saying it at the end of the video. So, real quick, this is how we know who the Dolphins will be playing. Now, obviously, this is 2025. We will talk about this, but you could see 2026 is already up and available. The Miami Dolphins will be playing the AFC West, which is the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos, and they will be facing the NFC North, which is the Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Detroit Lions, and the Chicago Bears. They will also be facing the AFC North and the AFC South team. And they will, I think they throw one more in there now. Let's see if I can find it. I can't find it. What is it? Raiders, Vikings, Patriots, Broncos, Bills, Patriots. Blah, blah, blah. There's one more that they'll put in there. Because normally it's like, you get, see how you have like AFC North to be determined, AFC South to be determined. That is, we face the team with the same place. Like we were second place this year, so they're second place. There's now a third team because you could see here there's now a third team. Well, that's how we know. And then 2027 we will be playing the AFC South, Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans, and we will be playing the NFC East, which is the Philadelphia Eagles, Washington Commanders, the Buffalo Bills, and the New York Giants, which makes me very happy. I will be going to that game in 2027 because it is right here. So I might possibly be going to 3 games in 2027. So we know the future opponents. They're already set in stone. The only things that aren't set in stone is those 3 extra players. And there might be more depending if they add another game on to try to push everything back so that the Super Bowl lands on President's Day weekend and you get that Monday off. But this is who the Miami Dolphins are playing this upcoming season. So it essentially is the AFC North with the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the NFC South in the New Orleans Saints, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Falcons, and the Panthers. They will also be playing the AFC West team that had the same finish as us. So the Chargers, who are in second place, the NFC East team that had the same finish as us, which is the Washington Commanders, and the AFC South team that had the same finish as us, which is not record-wise, but place-wise, which is the Colts, who also finished second place in their division. So you look at this schedule, and I took down some notes, right? You got... Obviously, we play the Jets, the Bills, and the Patriots twice. The Bills and the Jets and the Patriots did not end the season well. Those teams are kind of going in different directions. The Jets are kind of looking for a new head coach / GM. The Patriots found their head coach in Mike Vrabel. Jets are probably going to move on from Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. It sounds like there's a lot of turmoil going on with the players and all that stuff. Patriots, again, are kind of solidifying themselves moving forward. And obviously the Buffalo Bills are still in the playoffs right now. But they're going to have to deal with some cap restrictions just like the Miami Dolphins. So we'll see how that all pans out. Then our home games, which, again, they alternate. So last year we had 9 away games and 8 home games. This year we have 9 home games and 8 away games, which means we'll have 2 away games in the preseason and 1 home. That's how they alternate it. But unfortunately, supposedly, somewhat, the Dolphins will be playing in Spain, I think, this year. I think that's the one the country will be playing in at home. So we're going to lose a home game. But at home, the Dolphins are playing the Baltimore Ravens, who are 12-5, the number 3 seed, and obviously still alive. They're playing the Buffalo Bills, and I will be live streaming that game. Then they will be playing the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 9-8 and just missed the playoffs like the Miami Dolphins. The New Orleans Saints, who are 5-12, did not do well, and they are in a cap hell. Like, if you want to talk about cap hell, the New Orleans Saints, I'm going to look it up real quick. The New Orleans Saints cap is... to say hell is being nice. Look at the New Orleans Saints cap situation. They are negative $61 million in cap hell in 2025. Negative $61 million. The Cleveland Browns are negative $24 million, and that has a lot to do with Deshaun Watson. Seattle's negative $11 million. Atlanta is negative $3 million. Buffalo is $7 million, and Miami is $9 million. So Buffalo has a lot to deal with because in 2025, Josh Allen's cap hit is $43 million. Von Miller's is $23 million. Ed Oliver's $20 million. Like, they got a buttload of money here that they need to allocate and move around and do stuff just like the Miami Dolphins. So, but anyway, New Orleans Saints. Then you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 10-7. They just lost to the Washington Commanders in a really, really good game. You have the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 11-6. They lost in a horrific manner against the Houston Texans. I did not see that happening. And the Washington Commanders, who are 12-5, 6 seed, and just had a fantastic game against Tampa Bay, and they are still alive. The away teams are obviously Jets, Bills, Patriots, but also Cleveland, who is 3-14. We obviously beat them in Cleveland, so we'll see about that. Pittsburgh 10-7. They just lost to the Ravens, and apparently the fans are not happy with Mike Tomlin. On Twitter, I said I would take Mike Tomlin, and people are like, he hasn't won a playoff game in 6 years. He's 8-11 in the playoffs. He has 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl. I take him. We got Atlanta, who's 8-9, missed the playoffs. Michael Penix, I couldn't get his name out, will probably be their starter. They're going to move on from Kirk Cousins. You have Carolina, who's 5-12, but you saw how Chase Young started doing really well at the end of the year. And you have Indy, who's sitting at 8-9, and they don't know what they're doing with their quarterback situation because apparently Richardson is not doing well in the locker room because players don't like him. So Indy's kind of dealing with their own little situation. So looking at this schedule, and again, I am not going to sit here and tell you this is what our record's going to be at the end of the year, because even when the schedule comes out, and even when I give you my record predictions, the day or two before the season starts, I always tell you there's a caveat to it that, one, this is my record prediction as of today. If the team is healthy throughout the season, that won't happen. 2, take it with a grain of salt. Because we look at the strength of schedule, we look at all that stuff, and it is a whole different world. We looked at the last 6 games this past season and thought, oh my God, that's a juggernaut. That is, that's going to really tell what this team is. We won most of those games. we lost to the Texans, we lost to the Packers, but we beat the 49ers, we beat Cleveland, we beat the Jets once. Like, it wasn't that bad of a juggernaut of a schedule. So take what I'm going to say. I look at this, right? As of right now, it's a tough schedule. Now, there are teams on here that don't worry me, like the Jets and the Patriots. Do I think Vrabel is going to instantly turn the Patriots around to be a top team in the NFL? And oh my goodness, they're going to be the Titans the first 2 years he took over with Derrick Henry? No, because he doesn't have Derrick Henry. I think they're going to take some growing pains. But I think they'll be formidable. I don't think they're going to be a pushover like they were this past season. Jets are Jets. In all honesty, the Jets are the Jets. I don't care about them. Bills are Bills. We're going to get swept by the Bills. There's your one record prediction. We are going to get swept by the Bills. Until we don't, we're going to get swept by the Bills. Then you got Baltimore. Baltimore's always a hard team to face. We are facing them home, so we'll see how that all pans out. But Baltimore's Baltimore. They're a good team. Cincinnati, they're going to be good. It depends on how they fix that defense. But Joe Burrow, to me, is a good quarterback. But also, he has shown that he really can't stay healthy here and there. So we'll see how that pans out. The Saints are bad. Tampa, good. I like Tampa. I like the way they're playing. They do have some older players. They're going to have a turnover in players, so we'll see how that pans out. Chargers are the Chargers. They're not bad. Harbaugh's a good head coach. Justin Herbert has great physical traits, but when it comes to his accuracy and big game situations, he doesn't do well. We all saw it, 4 interceptions, even though one of them wasn't his fault. It was bad. We'll see. They're going to lose Khalil Mack. They're going to lose some players. We'll see how that all pans out. Washington's a good up-and-coming team as a home team that we're going to have to face. So that is your home team thoughts. And your ways, Cleveland's not good. Pitt, we'll see how Pitt pans out. They're going to have to go in a different direction with the quarterback situation. Are they going to stick with Russell Wilson, Justin Fields? Both of those guys are on the outs. Atlanta's getting young. Michael Penix is going to be your starting quarterback. Let's see how that works. Carolina's up and coming. Can Chase Young put together what he did at the end of this past year and chain it to next year? We'll see. I think they are going to have a new head coach, if my memory is correct. Indy is sticking with their head coach and their GM. And like I said, they're dealing with a quarterback turmoil because Richardson, apparently there's a rumor going around that he's not favorited in the locker room. But when I look at these teams and I look at the away teams, dome, right? So you got Atlanta, Carolina's obviously Carolina, but you got Indy and Atlanta, dome teams, right? You got Pitt, Cleveland, Jets, Bills, Patriots. If we could knock those out beginning of the year and play home at the end of the year, I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. Obviously, we're going to lose the advantage of playing 1:00 games in September, but the NFL already came out and kind of made it known that it's no fair. It's too hot. But you're going to have to play in negative 13-degree weather. But it's not fair. We can't play in Miami in September at 1:00. It's not fair. We'll do a night game. It's BS. It's all BS. And it's favoritism, and it is what it is. So if that's the case, have us play in Buffalo week 3. Have us play in New England week 4. Have us play in Cleveland week 1. Have us play in Pittsburgh week 6. Just get them out of the way. Obviously, that's not going to happen because it's going to be crazy if you play all those away games in the beginning of the season. But I'm saying, if you're going to be such crybabies about the heat in Miami in September and October, have us play in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo and New England. Those 4 games. Have them be on the road in the first 2 months of the season. Do it. I don't give a crap. And then incorporate everything else. But obviously, when the schedule comes out, I always look at where's our bye week. Our bye week was early this year. The past 2 years, it was a nice bye week. I prefer bye week around week 10, kind of middle of the season. You get fresh for that last stretch. And primetime games. We had a lot of primetime games. One of them obviously got flexed out, but we had a lot of primetime games this year. We had Thanksgiving. We had a Monday night. We had a Thursday night. We had another Monday night. The Sunday night got flexed. So we had a lot of primetime games. I don't care anymore. Back in the day when I was a kid, I used to always look at the schedule when it came out. I'm like, oh, prime time, because I get to watch the game. Obviously, being from Bayonne, New Jersey, and being a kid and not having all the money to spend on the NFL Sunday ticket, when they were playing the Jets or playing the Giants or got lucky enough they were playing a team that they put on CBS or Fox, I was always looking for primetime games. Now, I got the Sunday ticket. I don't give a crap if they don't play any primetime games this year because they don't play great in primetime games. Put all the games at 1 o'clock all year. Make us play Cleveland, Pittsburgh, New England, and Buffalo the first 2 months of the season and do whatever else. I don't give a crap. That's what I'm going to be looking at. But I'm not looking at the schedule. Obviously, if you look at strength of schedule, we're facing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 7 teams that have winning records. And then you have the Saints, Cleveland, Atlanta, Carolina, Indy, Jets, and Patriots that don't have winning records. Strength of schedule, probably like middle of the pack because we play the Jets and the Patriots and the Bills twice. It doesn't matter. Strength of schedule doesn't matter. I talk about this every year. You look at the strength of schedule at the beginning of the year, and then you look at the strength of schedule at the end of the year. It's a whole different world. I think we have one of the hardest strength of schedules in the NFL. We ended the year with one of the easiest strength of schedules. It does not matter. All that matters is playing the team in front of you. Injuries are going to happen. Teams are going to change. Coaches are going to get fired. You have new head coaches. You have new quarterbacks. Everything changes. But overall, this schedule is interesting to me. We'll see when we play the international game in Spain again or Brazil. Correct me. Obviously, we're going to lose a home game. I would prefer to make it be the Saints game. I don't give a crap. That's the only game on here where I'm like, I don't give a crap. Saints game, 5-12 team, whatever, and have those cold games be in the first 2 months. If you are so adamant that the Dolphins shouldn't play 1 o'clock at home in September, have us go on the road to these cold teams and have us have our advantage. But comment below. What do you think of the 2025 season? Like I said, when they retained Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, low expectations, incredibly low expectations I have. So I'm not going to sit here and say, we're going 12-5 or we're going 13-4. Woo woo. But I'm also not going to sit here and say, we're going 5-12. We're going to suck, dude. I have no expectations going into this season until they prove it otherwise. And by proving it otherwise, it's like beat Buffalo. If we play Buffalo in Buffalo week 3, because for some reason we always play in Buffalo like the first 5 weeks of the season, and we win, then my expectations are going to go up a little bit. Did we just beat Buffalo in Buffalo? Is it going to be my expectations? And then if we beat Baltimore at home, okay, now my expectation, you know what I'm saying? Prove it to me. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. The answer to the trivia question on this date in 1974, what player ran 5 yards for a touchdown 10 plays into the game, giving the Dolphins a lead that would never relinquish in a 24-7 win over the Vikings in Super Bowl VIII, the 1973 season? If you didn't get this, what is wrong with you? It is Larry Zonka. I will see you guys tomorrow with Omar Kelly, but like usual, stay classy and fins up.